As you can see today, I have on a blazer. And if I have on a blazer, we have someone here that's very, very, very deep into the fine arts. And once again, I just start off doing whatever I want to do. I'm Chris Rapley, and welcome to another episode of Go For It, the platform all about giving those the opportunity to express themselves when they were willing to bet on themselves. Today I have Dr. Liz Sheffield-Hayes. She's one of the most empowering women I ever met, and it all started from a cup of coffee. At Cornerstone. That was a good cup of coffee. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing fine. Let's start. Where are you from?
I am from Albany, Georgia. Newton, Georgia.
Actually, Elmadale.
Elmadale.
Oh, okay.
You got me.
So basically, you're a country girl that's done well for yourself.
I am. I grew up in the country on a farm with tractors and fields surrounding me, and now I'm in Albany with Albany State University and all the fine people of this area, a city more so than what I grew up in.
Right. And I'm telling you, I see the passion, what you have for what you do at Albany State every day.
Thank
because
you.
I work with them. And, and the way that you work with those that's in our mass comm department is amazing. And they love you. And I see that you love them.
I do love them.
So before we get to your business, what exactly you look for the mass comm department to be at Albany State University?
I look for mass comm department at Albany State University to be one of the best. I want it to be in the top 100. I know those students have what it takes. I know that they have the talent. I know they have the abilities. It's just being able to showcase that and show the world what they have. We are steadily working to grow that vision into being one of the best.
Right. We saw a list about 2 weeks ago that had the top 100, and we said to ourselves, within 2 years, we're gonna be there.
Yes.
We're gonna be there.
We're gonna be on that BEA list.
That's right. So tell me about your business.
My business is TheWillowNookCorner Photography, and I started it back in 2014, actually, when I took my first photography class at SCAD.
Okay.
So I was doing my master's at SCAD, and I had to have electives. And I didn't want all my electives to be teaching electives. So I said, I'm going to take a photography class. Can I do that? And they were like, oh, of course. You're part of the writing communication program, so photography fits right in. So I went into this class, and I was lost. It was an advanced photography class.
No fundamentals.
No fundamentals. It just jumped straight in. And when I did, I had to kind of teach myself the fundamentals very quickly so that I could catch up to the class. So they didn't kick me out of it. They let me stay in it as long as I was able to get those fundamentals under my belt quickly. And I did an entire scene of my stepdad and my mom, and it looked like my husband had them. On the back steps of our porch. And I did a series of pictures. I know. I'm not even sure why that's the theme we came up with.
Continue.
You weren't expecting that, I know. You learn something every day about me.
Do you still have that assignment?
I will find it for you.
Yeah.
I do have it somewhere.
By the time we edit this, hopefully I would have that, and we will get to discuss that assignment and continue.
We had to create a series of pictures that depicted something and told a story. And so I told the whole story from my husband with his axe to my stepdad in a white T-shirt with ketchup down his shirt to make it look like blood. And that's where it began. I realized that I was actually not bad at it. And so I started taking pictures of other people here and there, took pictures of my friends, And then I kind of put my camera down, and I had my daughter. And I took pictures of her, but I didn't really take pictures of anybody else.
Right.
So in the last few years, I said, you know what? I'm going to re-pick this up. Instead of just taking pictures of my family, I'm going to take some pictures of other people. And I started making bookings, and I haven't stopped yet.
And I've seen some of your work. As a matter of fact, you're going to see some of her work right here as we continue to, continue our conversation. And so I've seen your pictures. As a matter of fact, you told me about one assignment you had. You had to go out and surprise someone that was, getting proposed to, and you had to hide, and you had to go through all this to get it. But at the end of the day, you had some amazing shots. And that's something else when it's not staged. Most times with photography or videography or cinematography, it's staged, it's planned. That wasn't planned. So when I saw it, I was very impressed. I'm like, how can you catch these shots with, with the bride to be not knowing what's going to happen?
She had no idea. She was completely clueless as to what was going on. Her fiance planned the entire thing. He had his sister call me and set it up. I sent him a picture of this nice, pretty oak tree at Rocky Bend in Newton, Georgia. And so he went and made sure that they were next to that tree so that I was hidden in the right spot. And I used a 70-300. And that way I could get close enough without being close.
Right.
And as soon as I saw him in front of that tree, I started snapping.
And you have some very crisp focus.
Thank you. I also had my husband with me. He was over to the other side so that I got double shots just in case as a backup plan. I didn't want to walk in and say, I didn't get enough shots or I got some blurry shots.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I captured that special moment. So I had that second shooter, which was my husband, so I didn't have to actually pay him, to take double shots. So we had double the engagement, double the actual proposal, double everything.
As a matter of fact, you and I had the opportunity, along with Micah, we all three of us had the opportunity to work with each other at the monster truck show that they had here, and we actually used Albany State interns, and that turned out very well. They were quite pleased.
They were.
Yes, they were pleased, and we had a good time. So, using your creativity with your own business, and that's the same thing I do with Rapco.
Right.
I think that makes it even better when we instruct these young people on basically, how to be prepared. We teach them the fundamentals. We teach them how to be prepared. And at the same time, we teach them a lot about professionalism.
We do.
Yeah. So.
We teach them how to stand, how to present themselves, how to interview well, because that's how we get in the door. Right. And they need to understand that, of course. It's not all about your writing skills or your acting skills, how well you work that camera, how well you work that sound. That's part of it. But we had a student recently who is really good at audio, but he's a little scattered. So he did this 48-hour audio challenge and did a fantastic job. But then when it came to getting his portfolio together for the graduation, he was everywhere. And I had to go back with him and say, no, let's put this in an organized manner.
Right.
How do we organize this to showcase who you are? And I'm still not sure that his portfolio had enough audio in it because he is an audio person.
Yeah,
so
and a tremendous audio guy. He actually came through Rapco.
He did.
And a lot of the good audio stuff that we are starting to bring in, I consult with him about it. So like you said, we have to be able to bring, make that total piece work when it comes to that. And when you talk about speaking, we have a great instructor over there, Professor Bennett. When it comes to speaking,
he got it.
He has it. I mean, he, like you said, I say go for it. And like you say, he has it. He got it. And so he really works with students a lot about really what it is, how to be professional when you speak.
Yes, and we actually just created a new class for him, the voice and diction class, so that he can begin working with our students on how you pronounce words and how you enunciate words, getting the southernness out a little bit. Even though some people will argue that that southern accent's what makes them different, most of the time we don't want that southern accent there, as I speak in my southern accent, of course.
I mean, too. But right. So because like if someone comes through and they want to be in broadcast journalism, you know, and they get a job in Chicago, they're not gonna want to hear the southern accent.
They're not. They want to hear I'd say a middle of America, kind of not southern, not northern, just a basic flat tone.
Right. And that's not saying this is a recruitment video for Albany State University, but y'all come see us, Albany State University Mass Comm Department.
Go Rams.
Go Rams. So what do you have planned in the future?
I have 2 weddings coming up. I have a wedding in June. It'll be my very first solo wedding, so I am a little nervous about that, to say the least. I'm going to have Mikey with me, my husband, as a second shooter. But this should be a small wedding. It's a small, intimate wedding of about 75 people. I just want to make sure I capture all the moments, and I can't be everywhere at once. So that's what I'm worried about. How do I capture her getting dressed, and how do I make sure I capture all of the moments of the actual ceremony, and then capture as many moments as I can of the reception, even with that small of a party? I'm a little nervous about it.
I've done, I think, maybe 4 weddings, and it started from the smallest to the biggest of the big. Matter of fact, we had one in Albany, two or 3 in Albany, but I had one in Noonan, Georgia. It's a nice spot up there in Noonan. I forgot the name of the place, but it's like you can rent it out, and they had the wedding there. If I come back across it, I'll put it in there and y'all see the name. But
Noonan's a beautiful area.
Yeah. So I did that, but I understand. And listen, I'm a videographer / cinematographer, so I give much praise to photographers, because I'm like, I just started getting back into photography a little bit, and most of the time I'll call Cleo, graduate of Albany State University. I'll call him because he knows what he's doing, because I don't. Between him and it's another young man that's very good, very
Kobe.
Good. Kobe Matthews. Hire him. And then also you have Warren.
You do have Warren.
What's Warren's last name again?
Oliver.
Warren, hire him. It's great talent when you're talking about photography coming through Albany State University. So
there really is, and I highly encourage them to do an art minor when they come through our Mass Comm program, instead of just doing random electives, because you have to have 6 electives. Instead of doing random electives, and go into art major, and then under art you can take photography 1, photography 2, and special projects in photography, so photography 3. And you still have to have 3 more classes on top of that, but it just makes a well-rounded student, because we're teaching you broadcast journalism, we're teaching you videography, we're teaching you how to do those types of things, going into the art side and making sure you have that photography as your electives to say, I can do all of it.
And matter of fact, we was talking about videography. Before we go, we had a young lady, Janae, produced, wrote a project that several of us worked on, including myself and Mr. Bennett. And let me tell you, her planning, and that's another thing you learn at Albany State. It's all about planning. It wasn't a day shoot. We shot over a period of a week. She had a full layout, presentation, meetings, Zoom calls. So it's a lot that go into it, and I was very happy to say I worked on that project and was able to help it move along. So
I loved that project. She sent me her script at the beginning, and we made some tweaks to the script.
Right.
But other than that, other than tweaks, she did such a phenomenal job of like you said, planning, and then having the execution happen the way it did, and came out with such a beautiful piece in the end.
And it was and the thing is, it was her first one. And
Exactly.
It was her first one. And the reason it worked because she did reach out to the experts. She reached out to you when it came to writing. She reached out to Bennett when it came to knowing, teaching everyone how to speak properly and, even enunciate your words. Even when you're lip syncing, it still has to look right.
Yeah.
So, and of course, the staging and the lighting. Then it came to me with the cinematography. Then we also had Kobe working on it. I think we had a crew total with the actors and actresses, probably about 10 folks.
Wow.
And
She wasn't even a mass comm major. I recruited her last semester.
That's what I heard.
She was in my cultural diversity class, and I kept talking to her and kept talking to her and kept telling her, you should be a mass comm major. Everything you're saying, everything you're thinking about is mass comm at its center. And the last semester, she said, okay, I made the change.
Awesome.
I loved it.
That's amazing. When I came up with this podcast, Go For It, it's about the name itself is all it was about. Sometimes we just have to go for it. When I made a decision to come to Albany State, I had to bet on myself and go for it.
Go for it.
Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Well, hopefully we'll work on some more stuff together.
Oh, yes.
Don't call me for a wedding. But this was Chris Rapley. Anyway, anything else you want to say?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Say something. I haven't said anything else. It's like live, but we're not cutting this. I'm going to say this again. Anything else you'd like to say?
I would love to say that Mr. Rapley is phenomenal. It all started with a cup of coffee, but we have become great friends, and I am so thankful that you are now my friend and my coworker.
Thank you. Thank you. And that was Go For It, and we'll see you next time whenever we shoot another one. I don't know when it will be, but it's our show, so we just go for it. And this is the part where we turn, hold on, wait a minute. And I like how you did that. And we just go for it.
Go for it.
And this is the part where I turn to her and we act like we're having a conversation, but we're not. And then we roll the credits.
How are you today? How'd that go? I'm loving the flowers.
Sometimes it's simply stay positive.
Keep it simple, stay positive.
Yes, absolutely.
What if I wanted to stay positive?
Go for it.
Go for it.